Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is NBATierz back with another video. Today we're going to be ranking all 30 of the NBA teams ahead of the 2024-25 NBA season. Here's kind of the tiers that we have here. Um, for the most part, this is really just me trying to predict how the seeding will go. And obviously, seeding isn't necessarily exactly telling of, who will actually win each series or who's a contender or who's not. There's certain teams that are regular season teams, right? There's certain teams that are playoff teams where it doesn't matter what seed they are, they're kind of going to be a tough out. So I'm going to do a combination of kind of seeding the teams accordingly in terms of like where I think they'll end up, but also voicing my opinion on their overall championship expectations or if I feel like they're in the race or not. Um, Over here, we'll be able to look at the rosters and whatnot. This is just kind of uh, yeah, this is just kind of freestyling. I haven't really thought too much about this yet, so we'll see what we come up with. Up first, looks like we have the Hawks. Okay. Um, let's actually take a look at their roster. Um, Obviously, they lost to Jonte Murray. They traded him for what? It was Dyson Daniels. It was Larry Nance Jr., right? Yeah. They still got Clint Capella, Onyeka Okongwu as the bigs. Obviously, Trey Young's there. Bogdanovich. Not really much of a shakeup here. Hunter and James Johnson on the wings is solid. And then they draft Zachary Ricochet with the number one overall pick, which a lot of us aren't too sold on that one, but they'll be in the same spot they've been in. Here's kind of the tiers. One seed, we'll put one team from each conference, top three, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, they'll be fringe playing. They're not an absolute bottom feeder. They won't be, the 14 or 15 seed out east, but they'll be anywhere from 8 to 12. More so 8 to 10 maybe with the Hawks, or 9 to 11 even. They're just kind of stuck in purgatory. They might be worse. Who knows? I don't really have much say about the Hawks. They don't really have a shot at doing anything. Hopefully, Zachary Ricochet turns out how I'm assuming they think he'll turn out. So, good luck with that. Up next, we have the Charlotte Hornets. Okay. Um, it's funny because when the Hornets are healthy, specifically when this guy LaMelo Ball is healthy, they usually aren't bad. Like they're not bad. And you look up and down their roster, they have some talent. Obviously, you'd want a year two jump from like a Brandon Miller. Miles Bridges is still on the team. He can put up some numbers. Grant Williams, Seth Curry. They got a couple of veterans on the roster. I really like Vasily Micic. Trey Mann's a good young guard. And then, yeah, they signed Josh Green. They drafted to John Salon. So we'll see how he pans out. Mark Williams is a good big, good young big. They're competent for some reason, even though obviously Trey is better than LaMelo. I do like the Hornets over the Hawks this year. That is foreseeing that hopefully LaMelo stays healthy. I actually saw a report, what was that, like earlier today actually, where they said something about this is the first season that he's expected to wear ankle braces. So hopefully, because he's got those young Curry problems, bro, with the ankles. Like it's every season with this guy. So hopefully he can stay healthy. The Hornets aren't a horrible roster. They're out east. They can make a little push there for the 8-9 seed if they can do the right things and stay healthy. So they're fringe playing. I don't know if I quite put them 8 or 9. And then, again, I haven't really planned this or thought about it. So as we move on, we might uh, get some teams to move up, move down. We'll just kind of see. Up next, you have the Chicago Bulls. They're horrible. Uh, they still have Zach LaVine. Obviously, they lost DeRozan. Let me take a good last look at the roster. I do like Matas Buzelis. Of all of the draft picks, I'm very high on him in like a Reed Shepard. Um, Josh Giddey's about to come over and apparently play their point guard. They have a lot of faith in him. As we saw for Team Australia, he can play, right? Like if the ball is in his hands, he can definitely play. He just doesn't work as an off guard, especially next to like a Shea. That didn't work in OKC, so hopefully he can have a better season. But him, Levine, obviously Kobe White had a most improved player of the year level season just this past season. Lonzo Ball hopefully is healthy. He's been clear to like play 5-on-5 as of recently, so maybe not towards the start of the season, but certainly at some point you should expect Lonzo back this season. But I mean, they aren't like horrible, horrible. Actually, you know what? We'll keep them above the Hawks, beneath the Bulls. Fringe plan. Lots of Eastern teams to start here first. Um, we have the Cavs. I'm gonna definitely say playoff team, anywhere from 4 to 6. For now, I think. Um, Not too much shakeup with their roster, from what I remember. Yeah, not too much going on here in terms of. And this was a team that I expected to make some moves this offseason, like whether it was trading a Jared Allen and Darius Garland. We didn't know if Donovan Mitchell wanted to, you know, re-sign and whatnot. But I mean, they keep all their guys. They're looking to build something. I mean, they're clearly very competent. They're just missing something kind of push them over the edge. So they'll be in the, upper middle echelon of the Eastern Conference, and that's that about them, really. I mean, not much to say. The Celtics will be the 1 seed. We can move on. The Brooklyn Nets, they will be the worst team. Ooh, let me not. Yes, no, yeah, they'll be the worst team in the East, if not the league. They're clearly just trying to tank. They aren't trying to win. This is just straight Cam Thomas get your, 25 point per game basketball. That's all this is. This is tank for Cooper Flag. That's all this is. This is not going to be a competent franchise. Don't let the Ben Simmons workout videos in the summer fool you. He isn't going to play. Not any sustainable amount of time. Okay. Nick Claxton, that's a solid player. Cool. They still got Cam Johnson. I don't know why they're holding on to him. Go ahead and send that man to a contender. Go all in on the tank. I mean, you signed Killian Hayes, so clearly you've shown us you aren't trying to win basketball games. Okay. They're terrible. They're horrible. You know what? Is it even worth looking at the roster? They deserve this. They got Bojan. Didn't he tear his, was it Achilles or ACL? I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was Achilles in the playoffs. Like, yeah, they got Dorian Finney-Smith. He can still help a contender. Like, I just expect them to offload a lot of these guys for assets. Dennis Schroeder, like, come on. Like, they don't need to hold on to any of these guys, really. They should be horrible. They will be horrible. They're not trying to win. So, that won't even be their final roster, in all honesty. Moving on, we have the Los Angeles Clippers with their new horrible logo. Obviously, they lose Paul George. In return, they get a boatload of players in the offseason. They had a pretty solid offseason. I actually forgot about Mo Bamba. That's nice. Who else did they pick up? Yeah, it was Chris Dunn. Very good pickup, better than playing Bones Highland. I don't know why they picked up Kai Jones, but cool. Derrick Jones Jr., they steal him from the Mavs. Cool. Kevin Porter finds himself back in the league. I don't know about that one. Um, Norman Powell, 6 man of the year, can they're just deep. Here you just see a lot of guys who can come in and impact basketball. Amir Coffey's a good player. I like him. It all rests on Kawhi. And that's just always the case. And whether he's legitimately healthy or not, he's just gonna miss time. Like even if healthy, he's gonna take a couple nights off. Rest, make sure he's preserving himself. This is never gonna be a team that's gunning for a top 3 seed. And while they are deep, I don't think there'll be any. Yeah, I don't think there'll be. Uh, you know, and then we'll order these in each tier. Um, how do I want to do this? Do I want to do if like which of these teams is better or who's going to be higher in their conference? Because the Cavs are most certainly going to be a higher seed in the East, and the Clippers are out West. I'm pretty sure, but I don't know if they're actually like a better team. Whatever. As long as there's only X amount of teams from each conference to where it's not like overrun, I'll just say which team I think is better if it's like cross conference. So we'll put the Clippers over the Cavs because I think they're better, but I do think the Cavs will probably be higher out in the East. Um, but yeah, the Clippers they'll be good. Kawhi, when he is out there, will play at an All NBA level, an All Star level. He'll be very good. James Harden now steps into that definitive number two. He's not really sharing that with the Paul George. So, and I still think he's capable of getting you 20 a game if he really wants to. High level playmaking, elite 3-point shooting, dynamic in the pick and roll. I think the Clippers will be fine. They might move down though, because look, the West is a bloodbath. This upcoming 2025 Western Conference is probably going to be the greatest conference in NBA history, to be honest. You have a lot of teams that are going to be competitive. Really, no one's a free win, to be honest, except maybe one or two teams, and even then, like, they can catch you. So we have the Grizzlies. I want to put them top three in the West so bad, but for sure they're a playoff team. They're going to be higher than the Clippers. This team is deep. This team is so deep. Let's take a look. Where are they? They're so deep. Obviously, you're gonna have John Morant back. You drafted Zach Edey, which finally gets Jaren Jackson the hell away from that center position. Don't need to see Jaren Jackson center basketball at all. So yeah, he's gonna help on the boards, be a paint presence. Jaren Jackson gets to be a four, which makes his roaming more valuable in my opinion. So yeah, he should look better defensively with someone like Zach Edey next to him. Desmond Bain showed very vast improvement, and he was already a good player, right? So he's a fringe all star level player in my opinion. Brandon Clark will be back, right? Like they just got so many guys. G.G. Jackson, uh, Marcus Smart. I don't know if they'll hold on to him or not, but I'm pretty sure they're planning to keep him. You got Vince Williams Jr. I like him as a POA and just a solid player, and then obviously Santi Aldama. Like they just have a lot of guys. They're going to be very deep. They're going to be a good defensive team, right? John Morant's going to play at all NBA level, second team level, right? So for now, you know what? Just show them some respect. I'm gonna leave them top three in the West for now, and then I'll see if I move them down. Dallas, they have Clay, so that alone means that they're not going to be very good. But they did make some good roster changes around the edges. I had forgot they got Spencer Dinwiddie to come back. Don't really care about that, but yes, Quentin Grimes. This is the one. Good pickup. Um, Obviously, they get Clay, but I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I really don't like a defensive, not even just backcourt, but just perimeter defense in general of Luka, Kyrie, and Clay, because I'm sure Clay's going to be starting. I'm sure he wouldn't have signed with Dallas unless he was assured that he'd be in that role. And yeah, they're just not going to be able to defend anybody. And that was their calling card this past season. That's how they made the finals. Obviously, they had an offensive maestro in Luka, one of the top five best players in the world, but they had an elite top 10 defense. I'm pretty sure it was top 10, right? And it just made it really tough on you. But now with Clay, Kyrie, Luka all having to be out there, you're asking a lot of PJ and then you lose Derrick Jones Jr., right? So you're just asking a lot of PJ and the bigs and Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively, and I just don't. They haven't done. Yeah, yeah. Najee Marshall, good pickup, great pickup. Um, did they get better? Maybe, but I think a lot of teams in the West also got better. I'm gonna leave them in the play-in for now. They might move up, they might move down. I do think the Clippers are better. Both squads fully healthy. Maybe. They're relative. The Clippers are probably gonna move down, man. They're probably gonna move down. We'll leave them like this. I'll see if I want to change that. That's funny because I just said the Clippers are probably better than the Cavs, and they are, but it's just different conferences. We'll leave them there for now. Who's next? We got the Nuggets. Um, I don't think the Nuggets will be one of the top three teams in the West this year. I think they got worse. You lose KCP. You're expecting big jumps from Julian Strawther, who showed, in the summer league he can play, and even just last season he had a couple of games he flashed his potential. Trey Alexander was hooping in the summer league. I'm not sure how much he'll play on the main roster. Their rookie Deron Holmes, who they expected to play, was it Achilles or ACL? Always get those two mixed up, but it's season ending either way. So yeah, they're gonna miss him. But ultimately, you have the best player in the world. Hopefully, you can have a more consistent Jamal Murray, which, based off this past playoffs in the Olympics, I don't know if he just needs time to rest, if he's like just hobbled or what, man. But he's need to be more consistent. But and then obviously the big storyline was Russell Westbrook, right? I'm not sure how he fits, but Jokic can make a lot of guys better. He made Aaron Gordon better, made him extremely playable, even with his offensive deficiencies. But I just don't need to ever see Aaron Gordon and Russ on the floor at the same time. I don't think, right? We'll see what they do, but I'm a little bit lower on the Nuggets. And coming into this season, I do still think Jokic is good enough to carry them to a top six, just playoff spot. I don't think they'll be in the play-in. Um, it's always again, this is why I mean it's tough, right? Because in a 7 game series, I give the Clippers and the Mavs, just as currently constructed, a legitimate chance against Denver. Might even pick one of them. I don't know, not the Mavs, maybe the Clippers, but again, it's Nikola Jokic, so we'll leave them top six for now. They might move down again. The West is tough. They might move up. I don't know. Detroit, I think they'll be better than last year. Let me think about this carefully before I. Yeah, they'll probably just have to be a bottom feeder, just inevitably. I mean, they're better than the Nets. I can say that with confidence. I think Cade's gonna have a big season. They got a couple of signings. What was it? It was like Tim Hardaway Jr. He's bad, but they got him. Tobias Harris, he's bad. Um, but yeah, they got Ron Holland, which I'm not sure why they needed him. Um, they've already got Jaden Ivey and Cade. It's just weird because I thought Ron Holland would be good enough to start for one of these bad teams, and now I'm just not sure if he's going to start. Obviously, Star Thompson's on this team. Marcus Sasser is a good young player. Isaiah Stewart, Malik Beasley had one of the best regular seasons in terms of shooting. So they improved, but obviously, like this isn't a competent team in terms of competing for any playoff or play-in implications. I don't believe, unless a lot of teams get injured. So we'll leave them in bottom feeder for now, out east. Although I don't think they're worse than the Nets at all. Up next, we have the Golden State Warriors. Uh, they'll probably be eliminated in the play-in, just as currently constructed. I do think they got better. Like they really did improve their roster, but again, a lot of teams in the West got better, and they didn't make like the big move to put them over the top, or to give you any reason really to take them seriously. They got what was it, Buddy Hield, Kyle Anderson, DeAnthony Melton. These are good pickups. These are good players, and you lose Klay Thompson, which is addition by subtraction, in my opinion. Um, Draymond Green's still one of the best defenders in the world. You're expecting a Kaminga jump as he clearly steps into that number two scoring option with the absence of Clay. So you're going to need him to really step up. They're really valuing Pods, right? Didn't want to let go of him for Lowry Markkinen, which was a mistake, probably. But we'll see. And then Wiggins, he's just got to remember how to play basketball. And if all those things, happen, if everything goes right, they will still be eliminated in the play-in. So yeah, but hey, it's a win or go home situation. It's not a 7 game series. You only got to win. If you end up as 9 or 10, you got to win 2 games. If you somehow end up as the 8, you just got to win 1 game to get into the playoffs. They're competent enough to beat some of these Western teams in a 1 game sample size. But ultimately, I think they end up missing the playoffs again. But we'll see. We'll see if they make any moves during the actual season. But that's currently constructed. Nah, that's not it. The Rockets are going to be a playoff team. Um, the West is annoying. I'm already getting annoyed because like it sounds crazy to put the Rockets ahead of the Nuggets, but I'm doing that. I'm doing that. Steven Adams is going to be healthy. He's going to play the backup big to Şengün. You drafted Reed Shepard, just an amazing young guard. He's got like two-way Darius Garland potential, right? Jalen Green to end the just this past season really just showed you like if he can just consistently put it together, he has the talent. Like there's a reason he went number 2 in this draft class. Back then, a lot of people thought he should have went number 1. I wasn't one of them, but nonetheless, very talented, dynamic scorer on the perimeter. they need that paired with a Şengün. They just need both of those guys playing well at the same time. Dylan Brooks is a good NBA player, just elite defense. Um, and in Houston, he kind of tamed his shot selection comparative to what he was doing in Memphis, right? Like I think he just played smarter, played a better brand of basketball. He's under a better coach in Ime Udoka, right? So Ime's just got these guys in really good. Like look at these names: Tari Eason, um, Jabari Smith Jr., Jay Tate, Amin Thompson, Fred VanVleet, Cam Whitmore, right? Like just up and down the roster, they have contributors at every position, and I think they're one of the deepest teams. I think they have a legitimate 10-man rotation, even 11 really. Didn't even though they had Reggie Bullock, he doesn't have to touch the court. But yeah, this is a good team. This is a very good team, and I think they'll shock a lot of people. I think they're in that OKC kind of timeline, but just like a year and a half, 2 years back from OKC. But they're there, they're ready, they're making the playoffs this year. It may not be as high as I have them, but I think because they're this is the team right where it's like if someone does get injured, they have someone to step in. If Şengün gets injured, Steven Adams can step into that starting spot. Obviously, he does completely different things than Şengün, but that's a legitimate, spot starter for you throughout an 82 game season. If Dylan Brooks goes down, who are you bringing in? Tari Eason, right? Like if Jalen Green goes down, who are you bringing in? Reed Shepard. Like they just have so many guys. I think they'll be one of the more just deep and consistent teams. So yeah, I mean that's where I have them. Now, am I picking them in a 7 game sample size to have enough to just consistently, experience and just all these things to like take out the Nuggets? Maybe, maybe not, probably not. But I can certainly say that I do think they will end up as a higher seed. So um, I'm just gonna leave it like that and say that a series between these two teams, in my estimation, will be a dogfight. I do think that the Rockets are the best team in Texas. Next, you have the Pacers. Will they be in the play-in or the play? They'll probably be in the playoffs. Um, why are the Cavs at the top? I'll put the Cavs like right here. They're gonna end up higher in their conference, but I think these are better teams. I really do. Um, yeah, if Pacers can stay beneath the Cavs, I guess. I guess. Really good team. Obviously got Halliburton. Hopefully, he can go back to kind of what he was showing towards the beginning of the 23-24 season before he had came down with the injury. And then after that, he's playing through injury just so he can meet the quota to, get his money for making All NBA. So a lot of his numbers kind of tanked, kind of tapered off, but he's legitimate. He's legit, I should say. So yeah, expect big things from him. Obviously, Siakam. They're just a deep team. Miles Turner. They're gonna run. They're gonna gun. They're gonna be one of the best offenses, if not the best offense. And they're not gonna play any defense. And that's just them. They missed Benedict Mathurin in last year's playoffs, and I think for a good portion of the season as well, if I remember correctly. So he'll be back. They'll be right back in the thick of things in the middle of the Eastern Conference, hoping to make a second round, maybe even conference finals, depending on matchups and injuries and whatnot. But I mean, yeah, that's them. As for the Lakers, they'll probably be eliminated again. Oh no, sorry, they did make the playoffs, but I mean they're not getting past the first round probably. Um, they're better than the Warriors, and that's about it, man. The West is tough. I do think they have two top 10 players in the league on their roster, but some of their deficiencies in terms of shooting, in terms of perimeter defense, they didn't clean that up. Um, Yeah, and this is just gonna be a shit show in terms of, they drafted Bronny and all the coverage that's gonna come with that. And, JJ Redick, he's a rookie head coach. They're gonna have even more of a circus going on around them than in recent memory. So yeah, we'll see if the players can stay focused and keep their eyes on the prize, but I think they'll have a very roller coaster season as per usual for the Lakers. Um, and that's pretty much it. For now, I'm gonna put them in eliminated from the play-in. Um, wait, why did I put? I meant to put 9 uh, slash 10. There we go. Um, yeah, yeah, they'll be probably be eliminated. I might move them up. We'll see. I have to see. Again, I haven't really thought too much about this or planned it. Who's this? The Heat. They're gonna be in the play-in just because I mean they don't try in the regular season. Jimmy Butler does not care about the regular season. He physically could not care less. Um, I'm interested to see if they'll end up starting Khalil Ware and moving Bam to the four. Spo was on the sidelines with Team USA, first-hand witness to seeing Bam at the four playing alongside Anthony Davis. I think maybe even with Embiid in a couple stretches, if I remember correctly. Maybe, maybe not, but nonetheless, he showed that he could play a four. A lot of people have always thought he's been a four. He was stretching the floor. Hopefully, he can again consistently add that to his game. So I'm interested to see if they roll out, both Bam and Khalil Ware out there. I think that will add a just something different that they've been missing in recent memory. Um, Hopefully, Jimmy's healthy this season. Tyler Hero is gonna probably be their leading scorer for the regular season. Terry Rozier, he's got a full off season with these guys, right? Training camp. You can fully incorporate him. Jaime Jaquez is gonna get better. They'll be competent, but they're always injury riddled. They're always just kind of coasting, right? Like they're just that team that sits in the back of your mind, and then in the playoffs, they can fight with anyone. Give anyone a run for their money, but I'm gonna put them in the play-in for now. I'll see if I want to move them up or down. But well, they're definitely not going down. But I'll see if I want to move them up. We can kind of look at the roster. They didn't make any big acquisitions that I'm forgetting from what I remember. Yeah, no. Didn't Patty Mills sign with? Is this update? Didn't he sign with someone else the other day? It wasn't the Heat, was it? Maybe it was the Heat. I don't know. Maybe it was. Um, Next we have the Bucks. I'm gonna put them playoff team. I don't have them top three in the East, and obviously we already got one team up there, so I'm pretty sure you can figure out the two that I think will fill out the top three. Probably four, maybe five. Yeah, we'll leave them at the top of this tier. That's okay. Second season of Giannis and Dame, obviously half the, well, 80% of the time rather, where these just big star duos get together. First season may or may not work out, but this is another season they get to acclimate to one another. Dame can get more familiar in his role. Chris Middleton showed in the playoffs he can still hoop, right? He can still be very effective. Um, I'm trying to remember. They kind of wasted their draft pick, by the way, by drafting like a 15-year-old. But Patrick Beverly's overseas, so yeah, this isn't fully updated. There's not Tarian Prince. There we go. Um, Tarian Prince and Gary Trent Jr. and Delon Wright were like their quote unquote big signings. That isn't moving much of the needle, but again, they have two top whatever players. I don't really feel like thinking about where Dame ranks right now, but they have two elite players. They're going to be good. Hopefully, Giannis can stay healthy, and we can see what they can do. We're going to see what they can do. Up next, we have the T Wolves. They will be a top three seed in the West. I'm going to put them ahead of the Grizzlies. Probably going to be the two seed, maybe even the one seed, but I'm only going to put one team from the West up there. I'm sure you can figure out who I think that is. They're going to be elite. Um, they kept all their key players except Kyle Anderson, which so long. You draft Rob Dillingham. Well, you traded for him after what the Spurs drafted him. Uh, yeah, I mean they and Terrence Shannon Jr. as well. That's right. Yeah, I mean they didn't really have to make too many moves. Maybe could have got a little bit more shooting, but they'll be all right. They're going to be an elite defense and may or may not take another small little leap. Cat's going to play efficient. He's going to be very good. Jaden McDaniels is going to continue to develop. Rudy Gobert is going to be amongst the best defenders in the league. Uh, going to be competing for a Defensive Player of the Year, which they'll probably blackball him from for the rest of his career. But we'll see. They'll be in the mix. They're a title contender, obviously. They probably should have made the finals just this past season, to be honest. I still don't know how Luka pulled that one off, but yeah. Up next, we have the New Orleans Pelicans. Obviously, they traded for DeJounte Murray. Still got Brandon Ingram, Zion. You lost Valanciunas. Um, oh my God. Okay. So wait, only two Western teams can go here, right? Because this is 7 and 8. We'll move. We'll move everyone down for now. This isn't permanent. They can move back up because I don't anticipate the Mavs missing the playoffs. But I just gotta think because I don't know if the Pelicans will be top six. How many teams already have up here from the West? Three? No, four. This is tough. This is tough. Let's kind of look at the roster here. So they obviously have the players I mentioned. I forgot C.J. McCollum, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, right? Like that, they're elite. It's really just all on Zion, right? And also they didn't address. Did they end up getting uh, a center? Yeah, they still don't have a. They picked up Daniel Theis, but they lost Valanciunas. Who are they playing to start at the five? Because Zion, I think the coach has been saying like they're gonna play smaller this year and experiment with Zion at the five, but certainly I don't think he's starting at the five. So who do they have in mind? Is it Tice? Is it I don't even know who Trey Jameson is. Who's this kid? Um, yeah, they didn't address their lack of size with losing Valanciunas, so I don't know how that's gonna look. But Willie Green does a good job of making he made a front court of Zion and Jonas Valanciunas somehow able to be part of a solid okay defense. So maybe he can figure out again what they're gonna do on that end of the ball in terms of rebounding and stuff because that just isn't Zion's strong suit. But DeJounte Murray, CJ, Brandon Ingram, Zion, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, all these just very good perimeter guys. They're gonna get you buckets. They're gonna play good defense on the perimeter at least. So just rebounding and rim protection is gonna be very important. We'll see if they make any move to kind of clean that up. But for now, they're gonna stay in the play-in, I think. Ooh, I forgot about the Knicks for a second. Wait, who are the top? No, no, no. Yeah, yeah. Wait. Yeah, yeah. I was accounting for the Knicks. Okay, so yeah, I have them as a top three seed. I'm gonna put them below the T Wolves. We'll leave them ahead of the Grizzlies. Yeah. Obviously they got Mikal Bridges after trading about 13 first round picks for him. Julius Randle, they were missing him just this past season. He will be back and healthy, whether you think that is subtraction by addition, whether you think they get better, whatever the case may be, that is another, all-star level player added. Obviously, they got OG back, resigned him. You get to throw out a lineup of Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson. Like that's gonna be insane defensively. Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart. I think they still have Deuce, uh, right? So they've got a good bench too. Just up and down the roster, they're gonna be very, 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 very good. They're gonna they're gonna be good. So yeah, hopefully they just stay healthy and they'll be in the thick of things out east. They're one of the teams that people are expecting to at least give the Celtics a fight, a run for their money. Overall, I think I still favor the Celtics pretty comfortably out east, but the Knicks might have some motion, especially if Porzingis can't stay healthy. Because without Porzingis, that definitely becomes a series. Up next, we have OKC. And this is actually my finals matchup right here, to be honest. And I do expect them both to be at the top of their conference. OKC with Caruso and Hardenstein is insane. Like this is just insane. And Sam Presti needs an MVP award, not a GM of the Year award. No, 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 a legitimate MVP award for how he just continues to fleece this league, robbing people broad day with no ski. Look at this roster, and they have Nikola Topic, who I think his ACL tear was like a partial one, But even then, they probably sit him out for the season, right? They probably just play it safe. But yeah, but by next year he'll be back. This is a foreign prospect who was projected to be a top five pick. Like, and he's not even playing. You have Cason Wallace, good player. J Dub probably will take another jump. Shea's gonna play at MVP level. Chet's definitely gonna jump. Alex Caruso, one of the best, if not the best, perimeter defenders at the guard position. Lou Dort, elite defender as well. Isaiah Joe coming off the bench, throwing up threes because that's all he does, and they go down every single time. It feels like elite roster. Obviously Hardenstein backing up Chet, or maybe starting alongside Chet. I don't think they'll do that though. I think Hardenstein will be the backup. I think Chet remains at the five, so he just needs to work on rebounding, really just hitting the glass harder this year. Working on his body. Hopefully, he comes into the season a little bit bigger, which I'm sure he will. Um, yeah, they're gonna be the best team out in the West, and I'm picking them to come out of the West, and I'm picking them to give the Celtics a hell of a series. I cannot confidently say that the Celtics win this championship if they go up against OKC. And I'm telling you right now, if Porzingis is injured again in the finals, I am picking OKC. So that's the difference maker right there. If Porzingis plays, this is a toss up, maybe leaning towards the Celtics. If Porzingis does not play, the Thunder are the best team in the league, in my opinion, for sure. Not for sure, but in my opinion, I'd pick the Thunder. Orlando, they're going to be elite defensively. I'm putting them over the Cavs. I don't care. They're going to be elite defensively. Hopefully, Paolo takes a step or takes a jump. Hopefully, Franz gets back to shooting the ball well. He was hooping for Germany, so hopefully he can carry that over into the season. They're both going to play at all-star level, and then they add KCP, which is a guy who helps their defense even more while being a better shooter than what anyone on their roster, right? So you're going to throw out because ultimately, when it really matters in the playoffs, right, it's going to be Paolo like running the point, being the main ball handler. You're going to have KCP and Jalen Suggs terrorizing you at the point of attack on the defensive end, and then you're going to have Franz and a big out there, right? Probably like a Jonathan Isaac, in my opinion. That'd be hell to go up against. You got a Paolo, Jalen Suggs, KCP, Franz, and Jonathan Isaac lineup. They are locking you up. Again, they add that shooting with KCP. Suggs was hitting the perimeter jumper as well. Paolo was hitting more of those than I thought he would. So he's going to continue to develop as a jump shooter. He was pretty good in the mid range, just off my eye test, for sure. He was good in the mid range. I'm not sure what his numbers were. Obviously, he's going to finish. It's really Franz. If Franz can unlock his jumper again like he did in his first couple seasons and become a respectable 3-point shooter, because his past season, what was he, sub 30? That isn't usually like him. So if he can consistently knock down his perimeter shots, that just makes that a pretty good five out lineup in my opinion, because you're gonna have KCP and Jalen Suggs, you're gonna have Franz, and Jonathan Isaac can hit some threes as well, right? So yeah, it's just about their two stars, Franz and Paolo, being able to consistently hit perimeter jumpers and now unlock a different element of their offense. And again, they're going to be one of the top three defenses in the league. So um, the Magic are going to be pretty good this year, kind of in the middle, in the thick of things. They're going to give everyone a run for their money, but ultimately, second round ceiling probably. Um, we can look at their roster really quick. I don't think I missed anyone. I think KCP was just the big. Yeah, it was just KCP. That was the big move. Oh yeah, they drafted Tristan da Silva. He's a good player. Anthony Black. Hopefully he takes a step this year. Pretty good defender. He's got to be able to do something offensively. So up next we have Philly. Um, top three seed. I don't know if I want to put them ahead of the Knicks. Philly's crazy. Just to account for the inevitable time that Joel Embiid does miss, I'll put them as a three seed. But I think they may have action at second best team in the East, and they can give the Celtics a run for their money, fully healthy. Obviously, they added Paul George. You got a big three of him, Embiid and Maxey. Eric Gordon's a good pickup. Reggie Jackson's a pickup to say the least. Kyle Lowry can still impact basketball. You get Caleb Martin, Jeremy McCain, you draft him. I didn't think they would hold on to Kelly Oubre. I expected him to walk this offseason. He stays. That's a solid player. Um, they're going to be very good. And then you get Drummond to back up Embiid, which, hey, we'll take NBA injuries, I guess. They'll be good. They'll be good. They have action. It just all depends on Embiid's health. Up next we have Phoenix. Uh, listen, man. Oh my God, the West is annoying. Okay, wait. So let me count this. This is OKC is the 1 seed, Wolves is 2, Grizzlies 3, Rockets 4, Nuggets 5. Of these teams remaining, okay, I don't have any of these teams as a 6 seed. So that means I can move the Pelicans up to 6, move the Mavs back up because I already think they're better than the Heat, anyways. Um, Probably move them back up. So now it's between the three teams of the flag bearers of this past generation: LeBron, Steph, and KD. I've already put the Lakers ahead of the Warriors. Where do the Suns fall in this? I think just in terms of like a baseline, right? The Suns have the potential, if healthy, to just be a more consistent team throughout the regular season, right? Because the Lakers have no identity, right? The Warriors, they have an identity, but they're just very inconsistent. Ultimately, they don't have someone who's consistently going to be able to just help Steph. I feel like on just an average baseline level, what you can expect from the Suns is a high-powered offense, right? Grayson Allen, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, like at a baseline, they can give you that. It's about the other things. So for that, I might put them at the top just because, like, I feel like there's something they can rely on, right? Like the Warriors, they got one person to rely on. The Lakers, they're gonna play pretty good defense, but they just can't shoot, right? The Suns, I feel like they have a high-powered offense that, while not even the best, is just enough to get them something. So I'm gonna put them above both the Lakers and the Warriors. Can I say it with confidence? Do I really believe it? I don't know. I think Nurkic is a horrible player. Um, uh, I don't think Bobo's good. This is a sad roster, man. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. They're sad. Um, the Blazers. They're a bottom feeder, probably, right? Uh, they're better than those teams. I don't want to talk about the Blazers. I really don't. Why'd you draft Donovan Clingan when you already have Aiden? Are they looking to move off of Aiden? Are they looking to play them both at the same time? I doubt it. Why are you holding on to some of the pieces you are? Like, why are we keeping Anthony Simons? Like, who's our point guard of the future? Is it Anthony? Is it Scoot? Shaden Sharp's good. Why are we holding on to Jeremy Grant? I don't know what Portland's doing, but they're better than those two teams, probably. Sacramento. Um, the West is tough because it makes these teams sound like the Warriors aren't a bad team. They just aren't better than some of these teams. And I don't know, like the Kings just got DeMar DeRozan, right? They drafted Devin Carter, which I'm pretty sure he got injured. I think Devin Carter like is legitimately like the reincarnation of Derek White. He can do everything on the basketball court at an above average level. But I think he got injured with some type of, it might have been ACL. I think he's gonna miss time. Um I mean DeRozan's a good pickup. They're gonna be very bad defensively. They lose Harrison Barnes. Um they're gonna be bad defensively. Where do I want to put them? I do want to put them. Oh my God. I hate the West. I hate the West. I'm just gonna do this, man. I don't even want to think about it really. What is this conference? And the Spurs aren't bad. They're worse than these teams, but they're not even bad. Like if the Spurs, stay healthy and other teams just have a lot of woes, whether it's injuries, whether it's just a cold slump, the Spurs can find themselves at the 10 seed. You get Chris Paul, you get Harrison Barnes, so you draft Stephen Castle. So you're expecting the starting lineup of Chris Paul, Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes, Jeremy Sochan, and Wimby. That's not bad, and you're expecting a year two jump from Wimby, which if the Olympics is anything to go off of, um, maybe that's a reasonable expectation. So you're gonna have potentially a top 15, could even peak at top 10 in times player in Wimby. You're gonna have a smart, heady point guard with veteran experience who knows how to give them the ball, knows how to set everyone up. Expect Devin Vassell to get better. They'll be competent. Again, this is far from a free win. They're just probably not as good as some of the other teams in the West. Um, Here's the Raptors. I don't think the Jazz are trying to win. Larry Markin is good enough to make sure they're not absolute trash, but they'll stay right there. And the Wizards are bad, and Alex Sarr isn't very good. So we'll just do this. Um, okay, I want to make sure this is so. Let's look at the East, right? I have the Celtics as the 1 seed. I have the Knicks as the 2 seed. I have the Sixers 3, Bucks 4, Magic 5, Cavs 6, which means the Pacers have to go to 7, and the Heat at 8. And then it will be Hornets 9, Bulls 10, Hawks 11. Are the Hawks worse than the Spurs? I'm keeping them below the Warriors. Yeah, I want no. Okay, they'll be higher in their conference for sure, but are they actually better? I think there's more question marks on the Spurs, so I'll leave the Hawks higher. So wait, the Heat were 8, right? Hornets 9, Bulls 10, Hawks 11, Raptors 12, Pistons 13, 14, 15. Yeah, that looks about right. I don't think the Raptors are good enough to really justify putting them up there in fringe playing, even though there's 3 Western teams in here and only 1 East. I think these are comfortably the bottom feeders of the East, and I think these are the only quote unquote bottom feeders in the West. Was that put the Warriors at 12, the Spurs at 13? Like that makes them sound like trash, and they're not. They're just not as good as these other teams. So we have what? OKC at 1, the T-Wolves at 2, Grizzlies 3, Rockets 4, Nuggets 5, Pelicans 6, Clippers 7, Mavs 8. So those are the 8 teams I have making the playoffs. I have the Kings missing out, the Lakers missing out at 10, Suns 11, Warriors 12, Spurs 13, Jazz 14, Blazers 15. Yeah, yeah, uh, yeah. I guess I don't hate this. The West is tough. I think the East, I'm pretty confident in where I put these teams in the East. There might be small things you can tinker with, you can shuffle, but I mean, just a lot more of a straightforward conference. Whereas in the West, again, any of well, really, okay, OKC or the Wolves could be the 1 seed. I think those are kind of the main 2 teams in the running for the 1 seed. I'd be surprised if anyone else is up there. From 3 to 7, take your pick. Maybe you don't. Maybe you think I have the Grizzlies too high. Certainly, you probably think I have the Rockets too high. Maybe I have the Nuggets too low. Maybe you have the Lakers making the playoffs. Maybe you have the Warriors making the play-in. Maybe you have the Suns in the playoffs. It's just tough with the West. It's really just all about health and in conference play when it comes to or even I would say outer conference play, I should say. If you're a Western team, you need to get as many free wins from the East as you can and beat up on some of these teams like, the Raptors, Pistons, Wizards, Nets. You need to win all those games. Don't even risk it and play, the West around 500 or slightly above 500, and you're putting yourself in a pretty decent position. If you lose some of these matchups out East, some of these free wins that you need to just the Hornets, Bulls, those aren't horrible teams, but if you give up wins to teams like that, it's going to be tough out west, man. You got to farm as many wins off the East and just stay healthy, and that's the formula out west. Because any team from legitimately 1 to 13 in in terms of the Thunder to the Spurs could all be a top 10 team for sure. Anywhere from 1 to 9 could push for a top 6 team. Like the Warriors have action at an 8 seed. You know, even the Jazz, like they might not be as free a win as you would think a 14 seed would be if that's what they end up being. The worst team in the conference is probably the Blazers, and they aren't like horrible. Again, like they're just not horrible like some of these Eastern teams. So yeah, man, this is my tier ranking for all the teams in the league, kind of projecting what season they're gonna have, any motion they have at the NBA championship. I think it's a great season ahead of us. Hopefully everyone stays healthy. Hopefully we see some of these legendary playoff matchups that are kind of budding here. We'd love to see Knicks and Celtics. We'd love to see Sixers Celtics. Like I want to see all that. I need an OKC and T Wolves series. Actually, I need a John Morant versus Anthony Edwards series for sure. Again, even though they already played, I need it again. Um, I think the Rockets will be competent. We'll see what the Bucks can do this season. Hopefully, they get Giannis and Dame all season and for an extended playoff run healthy. The Pelicans could shock us. It's a league full of parity. Lots of good teams. So yeah, that's it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Leave a comment. Let me know what you would change. Let me know what you agree with, what you disagree with. Subscribe, like the video. And that's it. I'll see you guys on the next one.